Boom, right there. How's it going, guys? Talking vaping. So today's review is going to actually be not on a flavor, but on a device. And as I have to, I'm one of those people that purchases all my own stuff. That's why I don't have like a whole plethora library of, device reviews, RDA reviews, things like that. I unfortunately have to be a little bit picky about what I do purchase, but once I do purchase them, I am going to be trying to do as many of the reviews on them as I can. This was one I picked up I heard a little bit about it. According to the website, it's one of the newer models that they came out with, and it looked like a more simplistic style for beginning vapors, for vapors who don't really worry so much about all the ins and outs of a device as far as to like a bunch of different things that you can do with it for on the go, and it seemed like something that was a little more styled towards, I guess you could say, like the average everyday vapor. But it is from Aspire, and that's the device. It is called the Archon, and that is the name. It basically says that on both sides, and it does say Aspire on the top and bottom. And then on the back, it has a quick little blurb with the authenticity scratch off and the barcode. If you go to aspiresigs.com, it will give you the full rundown on this device as far as all the information about that. You can also download the full manual for it from there as well. It does come with a manual. So this is more just going to be kind of a general review. I don't want to go super in depth because I'm not as techy with some of the devices as other people are. There are certain aspects of a device that I myself don't use ever, not because either I can't or I don't want to. It's just not something that I've ever really delved into or really worried about. But this is the box. It will, if you go to aspiresigs.com, it does tell you who they wholesale. They do have a wholesale spot, but basically pretty much any website that sells vaping paraphernalia, devices, tops, tanks, mechs, variable wattage mods, pretty much sell Aspire, so it's not hard to find this. This I purchased from a local store. A friend of mine that runs it, his name is John. The name of his store is Torch. It is local to me. It is in Anacortes, Washington, so if you are in the area, definitely swing by and check him out, but I did pick this up from him. So with the box, you get the device, and it's really pretty simplistic as far as just the overall with everything with it. In the box you get the user manual and the warranty card, and you get the power cord, and that's pretty much it. That's all that comes in that. You do have to purchase two 18650 batteries separately, but that's all that comes in the box itself. So like I said, not a whole lot of bells and whistles, not really much needed. It's just that's the box itself, and this is the device. So it's really simple looking. It is streamlined, so it does have that rounded curve, molded, everything else like that. It is metal, but there isn't a lot to it. Now I will be honest with you, I am really surprised. This is a lot lighter than I thought it was going to be. Now obviously it doesn't have batteries in it yet. I have been using this for a couple of days, but even with batteries in this device, it is not anywhere near feel as heavy as a lot of other devices do. Now that can be a pro or con for some people. Some people like having a bit of weight to the device, so when they have it in their pocket or something like that, they remember that it's there. Other people, they don't want something that's big and bulky, so this actually would work because, like I said, it does actually feel really light even with batteries in it. But this is basically the device. It has a full rounded backside to this. This is the door that it slides off, and it holds two 18650 batteries. You've got your magnets top and bottom here, top and bottom here. Has the Aspire logo. I don't know if you can see it really right there. No, but it does say Aspire right in here. There's your fire button, your wattage and temp control. That is something that basically, there you go, the W and the T, your OLED screen, up and positive and minus, and there is your USB port. Now you can charge the device with the cable and the batteries in the device. It will charge the batteries. However, me myself, regardless of whether the device can do it or not, I don't charge my batteries through my device. That's just a personal preference with me. It does do it. I don't do it that way. I do have an external charger that I use that's a lot safer in my opinion. That's the best way to go. But that, again, that's my personal preference. It is used for firmware upgrade, and if you go to the main website, aspiresigs.com, it does have all of the updates for the firmware for all of their devices that you just download on your computer, and it'll plug through and everything else. Also, bypass-wise, I have not attempted it. As far as if while charging this, if you can vape on this. As far as I'm aware, you cannot. I will confirm that and put it in the comment box below. Again, that is something, regardless of whether the device does it or not, it is not something that I do. I just feel safer not doing it. But again, personal preference, that's just me. It does say Aspire Archon on the side right here, and this is a basic a gunmetal color with a yellow trim. And then it has your 510 connection, and I do believe it is a floating 510. I will confirm that here real quick. Yes, if you can see right there, it is a floating 510 pin connection, so that is pretty slick. Now, one of the cons that I already do have about this right out the gate is, as you can tell, it is streamlined, but it is thin. Now, this device, and this is going directly off their website for their size. It is 88 millimeters tall this way, 50 millimeters this way, but it's only 23 millimeters this way. So anything over 23 millimeters is going to basically be too wide for the most part for this device. I have an issue with that myself, only because most of what I use tanks RDA wise, they're all 24 or 25 millimeters wide. So yes, it's not a huge difference, but you know, it just 23 to me just seems like an odd size for a box mod like this, especially with a lot of the tanks and stuff that people are using are at least 24 or 25. But again, that's just me. Now, I do know there are a lot of posts that people have been showing, because they do have an Instagram and a Facebook. A lot of the posts that people are showing with this device does have the Cledo XO on it, and I believe that one is a 23 millimeter size, 22 or 23. I did a review on that one. You can check that out on my channel. I was not a fan of the XO, but I think it was because it had a bad coil, and I didn't have a spare one to try it in it. But that was that's a whole different story there. But that's the main one that I've been seeing this device with. So for this demo, just to show you the firing on it, I'm going to use the Cledo 120, also by Aspire. I just figured I'd keep it the same. That tank I am completely in love with. I did a review on that tank as well. You can check that out in my video library. Big fan of that tank itself. But I'm going to go ahead and pop the batteries in this, because there is actually something about this that I do like in general once the batteries are in. And it does have your plus and minus to remind you which side to put your batteries in. And the nice thing kind of about this, again, is just a little personal preference here or there, is there's no ribbon. You don't have to worry about that. You just pop your batteries in. The reason why is because the backside has a wide enough hole that you just use your finger and just pop the batteries out with your finger. So it's actually pretty convenient. This slides back on. Now, realistically, this door, because of the way that it's rounded, really doesn't matter which way it goes on. It goes on either way. My con that I have with that is just the simple fact that there is a little bit of a wobble give. You can hear it. But it's because of the way that it's designed, whether you use your finger to put the fire button or you use your thumb to put the fire button, you're still holding it. But for some people, just having that little bit of wobbly give, it can be kind of obnoxious, so to speak. But so it's, I mean, you can't really call it a con, but it's more going to be a personal preference. But when you hear that, to some people, that does annoy them. Now, when you push the fire button, the OLED screen is really bright, and I apologize for the glare, but it does brighten out like that. But one thing that I do like about this is, whether you're a righty or a lefty, a lot of people, when they're vaping on it, they fire it, they want to look at it. Regardless of which hand you hold it in, it has, and I really wish I could fix the focus on this. I do apologize for that. But if you turn it over, it automatically flips around. So it's always going to be right side up no matter which way you're looking at it. And I think that's actually really kind of cool. Real quick, to run through the different functions on this. If you want to lock the device, well, let me go ahead and put a tank on it, just so that because obviously with nothing on it, all it's going to keep reading is no atomizer, and it's not really going to show a whole lot. So we'll make this easier, and I'm going to go ahead and take my Cleto 120, pop this on here, and as everybody knows that has a Cleto 120 or has read about it, it does read at ohm out at a 0.16 for the coil that's in here. So when this is fired on, it pretty much reads, and again, I do apologize for that. I wish I could clean that up a little bit. Nope, won't do it that way either. But it is reading at a 0.16. So it is pretty accurate. It is set on wattage. So it's set in wattage mode, and if you hit the wattage button, the W button, it will go through and it will go wattage, volts, bypass. So basically will kind of be like basically going directly from the battery into the tank. So it's kind of like a mech mod in your device. And then it has the personalization screen where you can kind of see it right there. And again, I have to work better on this, but I do apologize for the lack of clarity on that. But that part there is the customizing to where you can change the ramp up time to your specific preferences. Now, again, that's something in there that goes a little more techy than what I do with my devices. I don't really worry about it. I don't mess with it a whole lot. There are people out there that do, and that do like that. So they do give the option, but it doesn't affect the device whether you use it or not. And all of that you can get just by clicking the wattage button each time to get to the different setting. Same thing with the temp control. If you push the temp control, it's going to go through the different temp options that it does have. It will go, let me verify real quick because I do not want to misinform anybody about what it can and can't do as far as that. It will go into nickel, titanium, stainless steel, and then it has the specific customization ones that you can set for your different ones as far as your personal buttons to reset them so that you don't have to keep clicking through. It's kind of like a quick access button. Another cool thing about this is you can actually change the lettering on here to put a personalized wording on here, whether it wants to say welcome, whether you want to keep it say Aspire, whether you want to have your name, things like that. So I mean, again, not something a whole lot of people mess with, but it is kind of cool that they throw that in there. To lock the buttons, it's basically the wattage and the plus that will lock the up and down buttons so that you cannot change your settings, but it will still fire. If you click the fire button 5 times, it will be locked and it will not fire. It'll just say locked 5 times to click, and that will not fire at all. So you unlock, and then you can fire again and you'll hear that fire. Same thing with when you go to turn this off, it has to be, you have to lock it. So you click it 5 times and then you press and hold the fire button for 3 seconds and it will turn off at that point. What else? There's a child lock and unlock if you hold the wattage and the negative button, and basically will lock everything up so that it cannot be used. So God forbid your device is out where your kids can reach it, which I hope that it's not, but you know, sometimes things happen. It will make sure that it doesn't fire at all in that. Temp control, the temperature button and the negative will change the logo. Temperature and positive will set your different customization ranges on there. And pressing the fire button while installing the battery, you can select your language. I mean, most of the time it's all in English anyway. Anytime you change anything in there, you just press and hold. You press and hold the fire button for a second or so to confirm that. But as far as firing wise, I mean, it hits pretty basic. And like I said, it reads pretty accurate. I haven't had any issues with it for the little bit that I have been using it. It pretty fires. Like I said, that rattle tends to get a little bit obnoxious because it always feels like the door is going to pop off. And if you hold it just by the door, it actually does come off like that. So not really sure if that was, maybe it's just the one that I got and the door is just a bit wider or looser than it's supposed to be. I'm not fully sure, but that to me is a con. The other thing about it, like I said, is it's only 23 millimeters wide. So the Cleto 120 is 25, and you can see that there is a slight overhang, which to me myself, it's not a huge deal. It's not a deal breaker. I don't look at that as like, oh my god, it doesn't. But there are a lot of people that want to have it completely flush, or something like that, to where it might be a little bit of an annoyance because you can feel the little lip on that where that clicks. But beyond that, overall, it's not a bad device. I just honestly, I mean, it does have a couple of little cool features. Like I said, it has the rotating OLED screen, so that no matter which hand you're using it in, you can look at it right side up. You can change the wording on that to a slight bit. Obviously, you only have so much room that you can use, but it's just a little customization thing that you can do to make it a little more personalized for yourself. It does have the multiple wattage and temp control settings, so no matter what you want to run, you can run on this. It does max at 150 watts, which again, for a vapor like myself, I don't normally vape over 100 watts, so that's more than enough for me. But it still gives me the range to work with. Like if I want to throw like a TFE8 or something like this on there that requires to run at a higher wattage, I could definitely do so on this. This device in particular, for in my opinion, I think would benefit like new vapors, that want to get into like the box mod style, but they don't want to go too fancy or too super expensive. But they want something that's a little more compact and handheld. Like I said, for me myself, the 23 millimeter, just because of the way it is, with the tank and stuff, it is a little bit, there is a little bit of an overhang. But for me, because I'm used to the wider mods, holding it in my hand, it feels a bit more narrow than it should. Again, even with the tank and the 2 batteries though, this is not very heavy at all. It is a lot lighter than most of my other devices, but it just seems like because they were going more streamlined for it with the 23 millimeter, it just makes it a bit thinner than I'm used to. So I feel like I'm squeezing on it harder than I actually am. But me personally, the one main thing that I do not like about this device, that it just bugs me, just to the point of where I feel like I actually have to have a band or something on it, is because of the door. It just, for as easily as that pops off, if I'm just sitting here and like, and I'm holding it, and I go to vape or something, and I hold it like that, and I tilt my hand, if I jerk it, that door is going to come right off. But like I said, they were trying to probably make it easy, and more simplistic, again, more streamlined. It's enough of a con for me that this probably isn't one that I would probably carry around me all day, just because even in your pocket, something like that, I mean, that's going to come loose if it hooks on your pants or your jeans or something like that. The door's going to pop off. That's what it is. But overall, in itself, the operation of the device, the different button usages, the consistency in the firing, I haven't had any misfires, I haven't had any button irregularities, I haven't had any issues where I go to push the button and it doesn't do what it's supposed to. It's pretty on point, it's pretty solid. Like I said, for people that are newer vapors that are wanting to get into the box mod style, but not wanting to go extreme with some of these, or bulky or things like that, it definitely is a good starting point. It definitely is a nice, I guess you could call it a beginner's box, although it does have a bit more in it than just a standard simple. There are a few other simplistic styles out there. It does look nice. But like I said, I mean, I do have a few cons with it that prevent me from probably making this my daily, all-day user. But, at home, something like that where I'm not worried about it as much, I can sit it on my desk or something. It's not a bad little device. You slap a tank on it and, it's good to go. It does work with RDAs as well. I can actually even show you real quick on that. But again, this is going to be a 24. So it definitely is going to have not as much, but it's going to have a slight bit of a lip on it as well. Let me just make sure, yep, make sure there's juice on there. So you see it fires pretty consistently as well, and it definitely reads right. It's at a 0.13. I think the the build I have on here actually ohms out at a 0.12 on most other devices. So it is pretty accurate. It's not super off, but it does have, it just, like I said, there are some people out there that are going to have issues with it being a 23 just because they have specifics that they like to have their everything be flush on that. But overall, if you're looking for, you know, a nice little starter box, something a little more simple than what's out there. If you're gifting it to somebody and you want to give them something that's more up to date but isn't going to cost you an arm and a leg, you know, the Aspire Archon is definitely not a bad choice. Like I said, it's not a bad device. I just have a big enough issue with that I would feel worried about it if I had it with me and I'm taking it in and out of my pocket, things like that. And just if you grab it by the back door and it hooks on your jeans or catches it, that door literally is going to pop right off. But definitely check it out. It's aspiresigs.com. They do have it listed on there. Like I said, Instagram, Facebook, definitely check them out as well. Give them a follow. Pretty much any website that sells vaping devices will probably have this one on there, so you can definitely shop around, check out who's got pricing on that. A lot of shops do carry this as well. Like I said, I picked mine up from my friend John's shop, Torch, in Anacortes, Washington. But regardless, either way, it's a decent, solid device. Aspire has definitely gotten more consistent on the quality of what they're putting out. I know a lot of people had hit or miss issues with some of their older stuff, but like I said, the Cleto 120 I'm totally in love with. Check out my review on that. The Cleto XO, not a big fan, but like I said, it may have just been because I had a bad coil with that one, but you can check out my review for that one. Did the review for this. They do have a few other kits and stuff that I may try to pick up as I can along the way and do reviews for those, but I will keep you all updated on that. As always though, I'm Token Vaping. I'm here on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, and Pinterest. Anything that I can do to help further enhance your vaping experience and make it more enjoyable for you is the only reason why I do what I do. So definitely reach out to me if there's anything you have any questions, comments, concerns about. I'll definitely do everything in my power to make that happen. If there's a specific video that you're looking for, I'll be more than happy to try to have that done as well. But until next time, no matter what, always remember, vape on, vape strong, truly love yourself. Have a good one, guys.